Hey, it's Alex with Cruises Computers. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be informing you about what to do if you're buying a used computer. Now, I'd imagine this wouldn't be such a huge problem if you're buying it from like a Micro Center or a Best Buy. I don't know exactly if they sell used computers, but more of if you're buying it off the secondhand market like Facebook Marketplace or eBay, just some things I would look out for. Now, I know eBay has some pretty good buyer protections. I'm not too sure about Facebook Marketplace, but the sooner you figure something out, the sooner action can be taken and the sooner stuff can just get resolved. So you have your basics. When you first get the computer, is it dirty? Do you want to clean it? If so, you have a couple of different options. I do actually have a video about how to deep clean your computer. You can either take a brush and some canned air, or if you have one of those like actual like air machines, you can just kind of knock that out. Or if you want to do a deep clean, you can kind of remove some components and wipe it down with some alcohol and get it nice and spiffy again. While you're doing that, though, it'd be a fantastic idea to double check your components, make sure you actually got what you're paying for. Now, I haven't personally seen a lot of these stories with people I know and whatnot, but I'd imagine it would be pretty easy to, say you put one CPU in there and throw another one. Now, a lot of the time, you can just check it with your BIOS or device manager or NVIDIA, but now would be a good time, if you're taking apart stuff, look up that serial number on the part. Another thing I would check, so if you clean it, obviously you're going to double check this, but if you just buy it and you're just going to use it, it already looks clean. Here's a couple things that I would do. One, check all your power connectors. Open the back case, make sure everything is plugged into the motherboard. Make sure your RAM sticks are plugged in all the way. It doesn't hurt to just push on a little bit more, make sure they're clicked in all the way. And then especially with these newer graphics card with the 12-pin power connector, you want to make sure that it's plugged in all the way, because they are known, if they're a little bit loose, to catch fire. You obviously don't want that to happen, and if it does happen, the fault can technically be placed on you. And so that's something that you really just want to double check. You can save yourself all this money by just taking 5 minutes, making sure everything is plugged in. And just checking to make sure everything is plugged in is something easy that anyone could do. Just take out the back cover, try to push some things in a little bit more. Or, a visual check will do pretty good too. A lot of these have retention clips. If those retention clips are retaining, you should be good to go. It's just one of those things that I kind of worry about with the news about the 12-pin graphic power. Just make sure that everything is looking good and plugged in all the way, because, yeah, you really don't want to make that one small mistake. That can happen in shipping. Things can get loose in shipping or whatnot, or, on the drive home. And I'd hate for someone to be responsible for that, essentially, if, there wasn't anything wrong with the computer before. They can't prove that anything was wrong with the computer before, and you just lost yourself a bunch of money because things weren't plugged in properly. I would also try to look up, the hardware that is included. One, try to confirm it with Windows or the BIOS or whatever, but just look up the specific hardware that you have, in this case, the motherboard, and go to the website, make sure your drivers are up to date. This is something that, can take anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes. What you want to do is you want to grab a USB stick. You want to go to the website. You want to download it, unzip the file on the USB stick. And nowadays, motherboards have a pretty simple way of doing it. Most of it is like Easy Flash or something, where if you have it plugged in and you go to that option, it will select the right folder for you, even if you happen to have some stuff on the USB. Obviously, it'd be best to format it. But, super simple. You're going to get the max performance and the best updates for your motherboard. I worry about that if it's a 13th or 14th gen Intel, and maybe they didn't update their BIOS. Another thing I would like to mention is just kind of all the software that's involved. It can be very confusing. So if you know exactly what's in it, see what software is available for it, especially if it is RGB and you want that full control. And, that's something that you don't really necessarily have to worry about if you don't really care about that. But with kind of the trend of having everything RGB, it definitely doesn't hurt to just, go to the manufacturer's website, see what software they offer, and just kind of customize it exactly how you want. Another thing that's really easy to do is just check all the ports. This one over here has like 12 USB ports, 11 USB ports. Plug in a flash drive. Just check all of them. Make sure that they're working properly. Audio ports, that's another thing. I've had some issues with some builds where I've had a USB port that's not working, and it's super annoying, but you want to know exactly what you're getting yourself into, if it's worth making a fuss about or not, if it can be fixed. Now, these are both trade-in systems where they traded in their old system for a new computer. And this one actually has a 3.5-inch bay on here, so we have USB ports and stuff connected. Are these going to work? Do they, for the audio jacks, does it have the quality that you want? Sometimes the motherboard quality might be a little bit better. This one also has a Wi-Fi card. Just another thing to look out. It's another point of failure, with the older systems especially, they might not have built-in Wi-Fi. So it's just something to double check, make sure everything is working properly. It's just going to be a lot easier to prove that it's not your fault if it's something that we catch early, first couple hours of you getting it. It's going to be something very easy to prove in the eyes of eBay or Facebook that you were either scammed or just something wasn't working like they claimed to be. And I definitely just want to make sure that people understand this and have a good understanding of what exactly they're getting into, and just making sure that they're not wasting their money. Especially, if you're the type of person to buy a used computer because X, Y, or Z, maybe money's a little tight or whatever. Unfortunately, there are people among us that like to try to scam those who are less fortunate. And so anything you can do to make sure you get the maximum amount of performance for your dollar, let's go ahead and knock that out. I'm sure I might be forgetting something too, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. I absolutely love just trying to troubleshoot with people and try to see exactly what's going on with their situation and if there's any way I can help it. With my day job being Dell and Lenovo and my night job just tinkering with the stuff I have here, my brain never shuts off of computers, so I'm always an open book. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. A lot of people have niche issues. One thing, I'm definitely a hardware nerd. This is something I always tell my clients. I am a hardware nerd through and through. Laptops, desktops are like Legos to me, but I do find myself to be really good at troubleshooting, better than the average person. I may not understand software the best, but it's something that I'm certainly going to figure out with enough time and effort and get that taken care of. So yeah, I'm an open book if anyone needs any help. A little bit of a shorter video for us, but it's just something that I want to emphasize because it is kind of used computer season right now. People are trying to sell their old computers after Christmas. Let's just know exactly what we're getting ourselves into. Let's make sure we're not making any simple mistakes, and let's enjoy these gaming or workstation computers to the fullest extent. Thank you for joining me on the shorter video today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks.